Hey, I'm Scott. I'm going to record a video because everybody seems to think you can't use small air compressors to blow out your irrigation systems, but I've done it for years, so I want to make sure people know it can be done. It's just a little bit more of a pain. But you're going to need a few different things. You're going to need how many air compressors you have and or a tank to make your air compressor have more volume in a small amount to have more volume. So what I do is I have two air compressors, so I just combine the two. So you can take your CFM on your air compressor. This one at 40 psi, which is what we're going to be using to blow these out, is 3.7. This one at 40 psi is, well, it's 4.4 CFM at 90, which means it's going to be somewhere probably around 6 at 40 psi. I used to use a smaller air compressor than this one that was down around 3 also, so you add those together, I come up with around 6 CFI total. This one works much better because it's got more CFM than my prior one, but smaller will still work for you in general. So what you need is your air compressors. You need your, for every air compressor, you're going to need an air line, and then you're going to need at least one additional air line. And then you got to get something along the lines of this, which is made up of a few different parts. Number one, you have to be able to connect your air line to your irrigation. So I have this. And then I just have a regulator, because no individual regulator on the tanks makes it easy. I just leave those at full pressure, and then I put a cheap $10, $15 regulator from the hardware store in line right before it goes into the water lines to make sure we're good. And then I've got a coupler right here. So what you can do is you just take your air compressor and then connect one, connect the other one. I put a valve on this one, so if I'm not running 3 tanks, I can just do it that way. Then I'm just going to connect my line that goes out to my my irrigation, and now I've got both combined, and I've got full pressure in my line right here. So then let's go out to the line. I'll show you what I do there. All right, so we're out of the line. Already took out my reverse water deal here. So I'm not going to cover that in this video, but I can make a separate one if needed. But I need to make sure this valve is closed so that my pressure will be contained in the line. I open this one, my water's already off. That allows me to get air into the line. So I'm going to screw my adapter right on here. Now you may not have this exact setup, you may just have like an open T here and you got to screw something in here. If you don't have something that, they're going to have different versions of this piece that we talked about earlier at your hardware store. They don't have exactly what you need. You should be able to talk to your guy at a hardware store who will help you figure out the exact conversions you need to be able to hook up to your line. Otherwise, post in the comments and maybe someone can help you out. Okay, so we got closed, open, our air line. Then I put in here our regulator, and then we hook our air line up to it. And then we make sure I've got a valve here just so I can capture it if I want to. Adjust this valve so I'm going to get about 40 psi. You want it between 40 and 60. You don't want to overload your line or you might create leaks. And that's all there is to it. Now I just run through my controller and open up each valve. What I've found over the years, I got different sprinkler heads on different lines, anywhere from 5 large heads to I think 13 smaller intermediate heads, and pretty much all the zones I've done it the same way for years. Is I've run it for approximately 2 minutes, one time through each cycle, gets the majority of the water out, and then I go back and run through each zone an additional 1 minute for each, and then I'm good. The one thing you'll want to pay attention to is keeping an eye on your zones. Make sure you they'll say you don't want to be running them with no water in them because they can overheat. The water's not there to cool them off, so you don't want to be running it indefinitely, but within reason. You just want to make sure you got enough air pressure in it that you're actually blowing the water out and not just doing nothing. But thank you. Good luck.